The Center for Audit Quality presents Profession in Focus.
Hello, I'm Cindy Fernelli, the Executive Director of the Center for Audit Quality, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this edition of Profession in Focus. Today I'm pleased to have with us Jean Joy, who is the Director of Professional Practice for Wolf Company in Boston. And Jean oversees the firm's Compliance and Professional Standards Group and is also a director of the firm's Financial Institution Group. So Jean, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Cindy. Nice to be here.
So Jean, Wolf Company is a member of the CAQ's Professional Practice Executive Committee, where we look at various issues and challenges that face the profession. Mm-hmm. And so tell us what that's like. You've been an active member and you've been part of the leadership of the PPEC, as we call it. Mm-hmm. So to share a little bit about your experiences on the PPEC.
That experience, Cindy, has been tremendous. I would say it's a highlight of my career, and to be involved at the ground level with some of the issues that are facing the profession is really, it's challenging, it's stimulating, and to be surrounded by so many people that are so invested in the profession and what it's all about, and trying to have an impact on auditing standards and the audit quality, I think has been a tremendous experience.
So you mentioned some of the challenges that the profession faces. So from where you sit, what do you see as some of the key challenges that are coming up over the next couple of years?
You know, Cindy, I look at that as kind of twofold. The technical types of challenges that we're all dealing with, and then maybe some of the global environmental challenges. And as we all know, from a technical standpoint, the financial accounting standards become increasingly more complex, and the financial transactions are more complex. Examples like derivatives and the prevalence of fair value measures, none of that is easy, much more complicated than it ever has been. So navigating through the standards and the standard setting frameworks is always a challenge for the profession. And then a focal point for the CAQ, as you know, would be the auditing standards. And having differing sets of auditing standards for the profession is just challenging, whether it be AICPA, PCAOB, governmental, international. It's a challenge as we navigate the standards, and hopefully getting some level of conformance or convergence as we go through the years will be very helpful. And then I think more environmentally is just the overall challenge of how do we stay relevant? What are the needs of the stakeholders and the investors and the preparers and the audit committees and the auditors, and I think the CAQ has done a lot of good work trying to bring all of the stakeholders together as we try to determine what is most relevant to all of the stakeholders.
Well, as we do that at the CAQ, one of the key things that I think helps us do that is that we get perspectives from firms of all sizes. So not just the largest firms, but also the mid-size and smaller firms.
Sure.
And Wolf Company is one of those mid-sized firms. Mm-hmm. So do you see unique challenges for the smaller firms than for the larger firms in the profession?
I do. I do. I think we have unique challenges, and we also have some unique opportunities as well. But focusing on the challenges, in this environment today, it's very difficult not to specialize. And it's like any other profession, sort of the general practitioner is, there's not a lot of demand for the general practitioner. So the complexity of the accounting and auditing standards that I just talked about is also challenging for the smaller firms as they try to develop a niche and they try to work through their niche strategies. And the firms really have to devote a lot of resources and time to determining what those niche areas may be, because we can't be all things to all people.
So Jean, I'm going to switch gears just a bit. You also sit on the PCAOB's Standing Advisory Group, or the SAG. And as its name implies, it is a group that's meant to, multi-stakeholder group that's meant to advise the PCAOB as it thinks through policy and standard setting issues. Tell us what that experience has been like.
That likewise has been a tremendous experience, and to be representing a smaller firm in a group such as the Standing Advisory Group is really challenging on one hand, but to be surrounded by so many talented people that are so vested in the profession, as I mentioned with the CAQ also. It's a transparent process. I've just been very impressed with how collaborative that whole process is. And getting opinions at the ground level has been very helpful. Seeing how these standards come to life and what stage they are in the process, I think has been very helpful. And I will say that I've been very impressed with, when you look at the talent sitting around that table with the Standing Advisory Group, it's impressive. The PCAOB is also just as interested in the opinions of the smaller firms. And when I first joined the SAG, I thought, what am I bringing to the table? When I looked around the table and saw the talent that was sitting there. And I realized that what I was bringing to the table was exactly that smaller firm perspective, because the PCAOB, like the CAQ, is very interested in how the standards that are being proposed impact smaller firms. And I think the process has been very transparent. I think the PCAOB encouraging smaller firms to participate has been wonderful, and they continue to do so. I can say that for smaller firms, that the PCAOB continues to look for comments from the smaller firms. So I personally, having been through the process, would encourage the smaller firms to be responsive to staff consultation papers, proposed standards, and draft comment letters, and even if they can't address all of the questions, then at least address the issues that they feel passionate about. And I think all constituents appreciate the smaller firms weighing in.
Very good advice for all smaller firms. Well, with that, we're going to close. I want to thank Jean, not only for her time today, but also for your service on the PPEC and the PCAOB SAG.
Thank you so much, Cindy.
Thank you. And with that, I'm going to thank our viewers for watching this segment of Profession in Focus.